Okay, let's get into the trade recap. Um, so the way I started off my analysis today was looking at the daily and the 4 hour, and I noticed that on the daily chart we still had the previous day high intact. It was not tested yet, but if you go into a smaller time frame, you will see that we did take previous day high here. On futures, the previous day high also incorporates the night session. So if you're on futures, you would see previous day high had not been hit yet, and we were somewhere down here. So I had that area marked out. But I'm looking at the 4 hour, how we've been kind of bearish, but we had just disrespected bearish order flow. And what I mean by that is there's a gap here that we had completely inversed with this candle, but we pushed back down, and then also we V-shaped back up, getting back above that level, also creating new highs. Um, so after creating the new highs, we had formed another gap. This one being bullish. So the 4 hour chart is disrespecting bearish order flow, putting in bullish order flow. And I'm looking for an area that we can target. Well, one of the first things I see is we have equal highs on the 4 hour right here. And the way I do my analysis is I put all my draws. So you put 4 hour 4 hour hoes, 4 hour lows, 4 hour highs, daily high, daily low, previous sessions, things like that. And we also had a 4 hour gap. I will sometimes also mark out these gaps. So I see equal highs on the 4 hour inside a 4 hour gap. And I begin to think, okay, we're bearish, but we have to have manipulation. So if we're going to continue to move down to these 4 hour lows, we're probably going to manipulate these 4 hour equal highs first and then continue. So instead of coming all the way back down here to sweep these lows after putting in a bullish fair value gap, I'm thinking that we just go ahead and target the equal highs. So that was my bias. So I need a retracement. Also on the 1 hour, we started putting in all these 4 hour bullish gaps. There's a 4 hour bullish gap. Here's a 4 hour bullish gap, right? This one was respected too. So we're respecting 1 hour bullish order flow as the 4 hour just changed over to bullish order flow with equal highs above on a higher time frame. I'm locked in. I'm bullish. I need a retracement though, right? So what I look for is the manipulation down, and that is usually gonna show me some sort of SMT. And I was just telling somebody how this SMT had formed earlier, so I didn't need it to happen during the New York session. But if you go to the 5 minute, right, because we're not looking at the 1 minute until we're ready to execute. So on the 5 minute, I'm looking for that manipulation. But the first thing I see is this consolidation. And when the market opens, ES pushes down, but NASDAQ pushes up. So right away, the market, the NASDAQ and ES are doing two completely different things. So I'm looking for, have we already manipulated? And sure enough, right here, on this move down, ES failed to put in a new low, but the NASDAQ put in a new low. So we have a very slight, but still there, we have a 5 minute bullish SMT, right? So NASDAQ put in that new low, manipulating these lows, and then we pushed up, held a bullish gap, broke structure, and you can see that right there. There's the bullish gap, and way up here is the break of structure, right? We even form a gap here, we hold it there, so everything is bullish to me. And now I'm just waiting for an entry. We already have the manipulation. I'm looking for an entry. So that's when I dial down to the 1 minute. And let's see what we get here. So on the 1 minute, we have moved down, clearly sweeping liquidity. We have a bullish pin bar. We come up. I'm looking for equilibrium of this move. On the 5 minute, it was a little cleaner, but we did get equilibrium here. And now I can look for an entry. And I was able to enter on, where is it at? I waited a little bit longer. We swept out highs, came back down, pushed up. We only had one gap on that leg right there. It's a bearish one. But again, we've already had the moves happen that I wanted. Everything is bullish. We already have a 5 minute SMT. We're back in 1 minute bullish order flow. Now I'm looking for continuation confluence. We get this ES is holding a bullish gap. At the same time, the NASDAQ flips a bearish one. And that is my entry on the close. Stop at the low, target the equal highs. That's it. So if you're not looking at both the NASDAQ and S&P together, you're kind of trading blindly. Because if I'm only watching NASDAQ, right, I'm not getting the full picture. I'm not seeing everything, right? Like whenever we move above this, I'm seeing an inverse, but I'm not seeing that the S&P held a bullish gap at the same time. So you really need to be looking at both. But that is the trade. And it all started with identifying the order flow on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, identifying and drawing liquidity, and then looking for the manipulation if it had already happened, which was that 5 minute SMT. And then I just needed a 1 minute entry during the New York session, which I got when the NASDAQ inversed this bearish gap at the same time ES was holding a bullish gap. So that is the trade recap. A little bit longer today, but it was more involved. And I was able to get away with $501 on today's trade. If you like this, subscribe. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate all y'all.